Hello viewers, my name's Chase Clover and this is my review on the February 18, 2015 edition of USW Wednesday Night Intensity number, I believe, 110. This Sunday is Insanity 2015, and if you are used to the schedule now, the every other week schedule for Intensity reviews, partial reason for why I'm doing this review is because last week my review was not able to make it on YouTube. The reason why I was not able to make it on YouTube, I don't know. I guess it was some sort of problems with the connection or with the uploading system, so YouTube is not allowed to upload the content for a strict amount of time, and it occurred on both times that we were trying to upload the videos. So we ended up putting them both on the website for a limited edition of time, or a limited amount of time. And this, we filmed the Intensity review from last week, the one that I was very confused about if you watched it, and the first edition of Unitard's Week in Review, which is the U-Wire. Both of those ended up coming out 2 days after they were supposed to, which kind of sucked because I got into this, pretty good whatever, and it really sucked. So I'm now here this week because I'm trying to make it up to, or everybody at Unitard is trying to make it up to the viewers for not being able to watch the content on YouTube, which is one of the main sources for where they want to watch it. And so, even though Zach also has his Twitch that he needs to update, which is to make up for the lack of Twitch streams last weekend, he's putting up a Twitch stream tonight, Thursday, February 19th, 2015, one of the other reasons why I'm going to do this review is because, let's be honest, if you watched Intensity, it was really, really good. It was one of the best Intensities I've seen in a long time. It had, it had quite a bit of action. Many of the matches were great. Even the ones that wouldn't have been expected to be great were pretty good. The promos in between were great. There was some new types of promos, new ways to build character, and it was just great. I think this is one of the best go-home shows to a pay-per-view, one of the best Intensity go-home shows to a pay-per-view that USW has ever put on. So that's how good it was. And I guess let's just jump into it, so that way, this video will update faster, or will upload faster. So let's get through this. So we start off the night with a promo, and it is Western Light calling out Morbid for a match at Intensity. Morbid ends up accepting, which will lead to a Western Light versus Morbid match at Insanity 2015, which means neither of them will be taking part in the 20-man gauntlet match, which means we already have two people that we are expecting not to be in there. And it was really interesting how Morbid accomplished it. He got on the Titantron, and without even being on the Titantron, or without even being seen on the Titantron, he ended up being able to point out "I accept" without even having the words flash on the screen, which was interesting, and which was it was confusing for people that didn't really understand it, but for those who did, it was a clever way to have someone accept it without just saying "I accept it." We then start the matches off with BP Fierce vs. Greyhound. BP Fierce, of course, defeats Greyhound, and we'll move on to his rivalry with Brandon Stickler this Sunday at Insanity 2015. It was a great match. BP Fierce ended up putting on some great spots. Greyhound was able to keep the fans interested and keep the fans watching, just by his basic, signature flying maneuvers and all that. It was an impressive win by BP Fierce, which then led to his opponent this Sunday at Insanity, Brandon Stickler, coming down and talking down BP Fierce to lower his confidence going into Insanity 2015. It kind of hit a nerve for BP Fierce, or it wanted him to hit a nerve on BP Fierce to make it seem like he's got a disadvantage now because he feels like he has less of a chance to beat Brandon Stickler this Sunday at Insanity, which is going to lead into a big part of my preview for that match this Sunday. We then lead that off with the second match, which is Chris Ross defeating Indigo with Chain Reaction. So Chris Ross defeats one half of Indigo Reaction, and afterwards Indigo Reaction calls out Ezra Kills and Benny Franklin to a confrontation this Sunday at Insanity 2015. So expect the tag team champions to go face to face with Indigo Reaction, and since it's not a match, I'm expecting this to be something that would definitely take interest in as much as a match. So they should be able to pull out some stops here with this confrontation on Sunday. Afterwards, we have an interview with Canon about the three-way match or the three-way dance or the three-way brawl, whatever you want to call it, at Insanity for the USW title. He pretty much goes on to say that no matter what, he's going to be walking into Call to Greatness 10 with the USW Championship around his waist, and nobody will stop him. And by nobody, he means nobody. That's interesting. Just because you never really hear Canon say things that are confident, or say things out of confidence or cockiness, just because his character is someone who doesn't really like to run his mouth. He just likes to guarantee something, and if it doesn't come true, then he whines about it, or he bitches about it, and if it does, then he brags about it. So that's kind of like a major standpoint in his character that hasn't really been addressed too much, unless it's when he's on the microphone or when he's in front of a microphone, or cutting a promo. We lead that with a third match, which is Simon Saint and Crimson Red defeating Anarchy and Titanfall. Afterwards, Simon Saint tells Anarchy that he is not going to let him walk out of Insanity with his Blue Belt Championship. That's right. Simon Saint did beat Anarchy for the Blue Belt Championship if you did not watch my review, or if you have not been following Intensity and you just watch these videos just because. But Simon Saint, he's been doing pretty well as a Blue Belt Champion, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for him when it comes to that reign. Fourth match was probably the best match on the night, and definitely one of the most underrated. Alex defeating TJ Alex defeating TJ in general. They're both high flyers, so there were many high flying maneuvers, many reversals, many counters, aerial strikes. Man, it was an incredible match. There was nothing to make you turn away. It was not boring, and then to have Alex kick out of TJ's elbow drop and then immediately go into the senton bomb to pick up, or senton bomb into leg drop, which led to his win, was just phenomenal. Great ending to the match, and it was great. And then afterwards, Alex calls out James and asks him for a no disqualification match and Insanity this Sunday. So we will get Alex versus James in a no DQ match at Insanity this Sunday. Fifth match was Case, Amor, and Hanasley, the newly formed tag team, defeating Chris Ross and Alexander Rotten. Chris Ross fought twice in the night because Alexander Rotten had the choice of making him face twice a night. So he wore him out and ended up costing them after, I believe it was, I think it was Amor who got involved. And then Alexander Rotten threw him out of the ring. And then Hanasley got hit, or leaned him up against the ropes or whatever. And Chris Ross ended up running into him and knocking him over the top rope, which ended up leading to Hanasley hitting the Case on Chris Ross for the win. Afterwards, Chris Ross attacks Alexander Rotten and pins him as if he were eliminating him in the gauntlet match, which kind of signifies the fact that Chris Ross and Alexander Rotten will be in the gauntlet match this Sunday, so you have 18 other people that we're waiting for. Sixth match was Prophecy defeating Lone Wolf. It was a pretty good match, between two great uprising superstars, or performers, whatever you want to call them. Afterwards, Dustin Raymond attacks Dwayne Porter and tells him that he's not going to allow him to make it to Insanity, which kind of leads to Dustin Raymond and Dwayne Porter also being in the gauntlet match, so 16 people left to figure out. Afterwards, the seventh match, Gringo defeated Reigning Standard, the team of Reign and DHIG. Then Gringo avoids a sneak attack from Fernandez, and points to the International Championship heading to Insanity, which means we may get a Gringo versus Fernandez International Championship match, although it is expected that they're going to be in the gauntlet match, so it looks like, it could go either way. We can end up being down to 14 people to find, or we can have an International Championship match and stay at 16 people. And then the 8th match on the card, the main event, World Champion Capital, USW Champion Zach Hardy, and Moshigeta defeat Canon, Yo-Yo Joe, and Seth. Afterwards, Canon attacks Moshigeta and hits him with a cannonball backflip, and then Hardy immediately picks him up and brings him into the Hardy face plant before posing over both Canon and Moshigeta with the USW Championship to end the show, which is supposed to boost confidence towards the USW Championship match this Sunday. And it's kind of necessary because the world title had its match last pay-per-view at No Forgiveness, and the USW title match did not happen, of course, because of that segment between Hardy and Canon at No Forgiveness 2015. So now, for the first time in about 2 months, we get a USW Championship match, which is supposed to be great. And Zach Hardy posed over Canon and Moshigeta to end the show with a championship, pretty much signifying that he was going to walk out with that title. It was kind of memorable. It was great, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this promo. I'm enjoying everything about it. So there you have it. That's my review of the February 18th, 2015 edition of USW Wednesday Night Intensity. Remember, this Sunday is Insanity 2015. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Chase Clover, signing off.